Now to discuss all of this, Congressman Ted Yoho, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, great to see you. And I have to, let's start with a Trump tweet here, if we may. Sure. Meetings between staffs and representatives going well and quickly, but in the end, that doesn't matter. We will, can we put that tweet up, please? I'm talking with our producers, if they would be so kind.
Okay.
And we always have to be very patient because sometimes we move at the same pace as Kim's motorcade there. But the president's tweet. Meetings between staffs and representatives are going well and quickly. But in the end, that doesn't matter. We will all know soon whether or not a real deal, unlike those of the past, can happen. Your thoughts, Congressman, about what you expect, what you think is realistic in this extraordinary moment between these two men as they will sit down for about 2 hours together. That's
Sure.
the expectation.
Yeah, and Lou, like you said, this is an extraordinary moment in history. And I agree with President Trump. You know, the people can get together and they can talk about these things, but it's not really going to matter until it gets to the decision makers. And I think President Trump has shown that he's very well versed at negotiating, and that, you know, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a framework of where we're going to go in the future, you know, with denuclearization. And of course, our interpretation or definition of that is complete denuclearization. Right. And then we can talk about sanctions down the road, but not right now.
Yeah, he's made it very clear, as has his Secretary of State and everyone else on his national security team, that it's going to be denuclearization, it's going to be verifiable, and it's going to be irreversible denuclearization.
Right. It has to be.
And that is a very difficult formula or algorithm equation to put together and to enforce, isn't it?
It really is, but if Kim Jong-un looks at it, he can look at staying the way he is and being isolated for the rest of the world and having a very poor economy, people starving to death in their country, or he can come into the 21st century and be invited in there and, you know, look at the prosperity. And all you have to do is look at the satellite imagery from North Korea and South Korea at night. And I'm sure when he's in Singapore, his eyes are getting really wide open on the possibilities of what could happen for North Korea.
Singapore is an extraordinary place. It is a
awesome place,
a city-state. Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of Singapore, an extraordinary man with deep, rich ties to many U.S. leaders, both in business and politics,
sure is.
And academia, and with all that he accomplished, but also his profound bridge to the Chinese. And it's really appropriate that this be the setting for this summit, because Singapore rests between those worlds and the larger world of commerce, international commerce, of course, itself.
Sure, it really is. And the founder, he was such a visionary, and we've had the opportunity to meet with Prime Minister Lee several times, right. And he's got a vision for his country, and they punch way above their weight for the size they are, but what an economic powerhouse, and follow the rule of law.
And innovative, always at the forward part of
cutting edge
innovation and technological development. The connectivity of Singapore for 20 years has been the envy of nearly all of the world.
They sure are.
Why do you, in your judgment, why should we not expect a great deal from just this first meeting? I know that there is this attitude in the national media in particular, and I understand why the White House would be trying to dampen expectations. I'm going to annoy some people, I'm sure, at the White House, by saying, you know, I have immense expectations for this meeting because I think that interests are aligned. That is, not only between the United States and North Korea, but among Beijing, North Korea, and the United States.
Well, just that it's happening is monumental, and
Right.
nobody else but President Trump could have made this happen, and it was his stance, his posture, and he's negotiating from a stance of strength, not weakness, not
Right.
strategic patience, and it couldn't have happened under the last administration because they didn't have the gravitas to move forward. And so I think what you're going to see coming out of this is you're going to see the groundwork being done, and then it's going to move step by step into the future. And this is going to be monumental. If we can have a peaceful resolution to a possible conflict on the Korean Peninsula, and we can do that diplomatically, that sets the stage work for future conflicts. And so I'm very excited about this, moving into it cautiously, but I think good things will come out of this.
All right. Congressman, great to have you with us. Good to see you. Ted Yoho.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
very much.
Same here. Thanks, Lou.